Hi, everybody. This is Judy Tuttle from Tuttle Up Stamping. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I think I've got some great cards to share with you that you're going to love. And I want to talk to you a little bit about some updates for my Tuttle Up business and some things that I have on the calendar. So thank you for joining me. Give me just half a second here to get my video going on my computer, and that way I can see your comments and respond to you in real time here. So it's a little early. I might just wait a second or two for people to come online before I get started. So it's been a beautiful weekend here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It was a little rainy and foggy and drizzly all day today, but it cleared up by about 3 o'clock and turned out to be a beautiful late afternoon here in Lincoln, Nebraska. When you come on, say hi, tell me where you're from, and what you did over the weekend. I'd love to hear your stories. Let me think about my weekend. Friday night, I had the Decorated with Happiness card class, and that was so much fun. I loved the cards we made. I don't have them right here next to me, so unfortunately, I can't show you those. But it was a ton of fun. And then Saturday, we kind of had an easy breezy day. I went to work out in the morning and went to make some deliveries for my Tuttle Up. Hi, Roz. Thanks for joining me. Some deliveries for my Tuttle Up. Hi, Alice. And then we had some friends over Saturday night for dinner and a game night, and that was so much fun. I love game nights. I love playing games. I'm very competitive. I don't know if you guys would believe that or not, but I hate to lose. And we played 2 games. We played Cover Your Assets, which is like a banking game, but you steal money from each other. It's really funny because you might think you're winning, and then by the end you're like the biggest loser. And then we played Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which is my new favorite game to play as adults. So we had so much fun playing both of those games, and we had a baked potato bar, and it was just a great community. So that was fun. And then our son surprised us and came for the night. He was at York College in York, Nebraska for his homecoming, and he surprised us and came and spent the night with us and went to church next morning. So that was super fun. So I had a beautiful weekend. I hope you guys did too. So I want to tell you a little bit about some things coming up, if that's all right. And then I'm going to get right into my Fond of Autumn online class to go tonight. Now, if you want the online class to go, you will make 6 cards. You will get a kit to make 6 cards, 2 of each of the designs that I'm making for you tonight. You will need the Fond of Autumn stamp set and preferably the dies as well, unless you really love to fussy cut. The cost to get your kit is $30, whether you're picking it up or I'm shipping it to you. If you spend $50, I'm throwing in a whole package of these brushed metallic dot elements, okay? So think about taking my online class to go. I'll show you tonight how to make every single card, and you can always refer back to this video and watch it. And if you already have everything at home, then you're good to go, okay? All right, so I'm going to move my camera down like I usually do. And sometimes it's tricky, and sometimes it goes exactly as planned. So I'm hoping tonight that it will go exactly as planned. You know what? That is looking pretty good, right? So you guys know that this month of October, I'm having a breast cancer fundraiser. $10 of every kit you buy will go towards the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research. And then you will get a kit. You'll get a PDF to make the 10 cards that I have designed for this project. but you will have plenty of more. I love this one because it's kind of a fun fold. I created a fun fold with that one. And so I will give you the PDF, and you can join me on November the 4th, which is a Friday night, and we can make them together. So I love these cards. I love all the things that they say, very positive, hopeful sentiments. You get a whole package of our Memory and More textured chic cards. That's what I've used to make all these cards, these stickers, the bigger cards, little cards, but you'll also get the note cards and envelopes. How pretty are those with those gold elements? You'll get a whole package of the rustic metallic dots and a whole roll of the satin edged gold ribbon. Okay, so you will not only be able to make the 10 cards that I will provide the PDF for you for, but you will also have plenty more to make lots more cards in the future. Okay, now if you were to order all of that on my online store, it would cost you $46.50. So I am charging $45 for this kit, but I'm giving away $10 of your money to the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research, and then I am matching that for every kit I sell. So $20 of every kit sold will go to Susan G. Komen Foundation. So I hope you will consider joining me in this effort. If you scroll down a little bit on my Facebook page, you will see the link. I had to change the link this week. It closed on the wrong date, so I had to reopen it, and I have a new registration link. So the ones that are on my Facebook page are the newer ones, so you will be able to find out. I will also put it in the description of this video once I'm done. The second most important thing I want to talk to you about is that October is a great time to join Stampin' Up! This month only, you can get $155 worth of product for $99, and then you can get a 20% discount as long as you choose to be active. There are some very easily achievable minimums. I started this business 14 years ago. I started as a hobby demonstrator just for the discount, and I grew it into a business. But you don't have to. You can just have fun buying your own stuff and playing with it. Plus, you need to know you get free shipping on the starter kit. My team members get team community support from me, plus all my class PDFs for free. Okay, so lots of reasons to join the Tuttle Up Stamping team. I think we have a pretty fabulous team. And then last thing is this Thursday night in person, October 27th, 7 p.m. is my cottage wreaths class. I'm so excited about this class, but you can also get this class to go with a $35 order. If you would like. I want to show you the cards I designed, and if you're part of my card club and you're watching, you should close your eyes because we're doing these cards in card club. So the first one is this one. I love the gray with the balmy blue, but look, it's an easel card. Do you see that? So it sets up like this, really pretty to sit on top of someone's desk. And it says, some people just make life better. Isn't that sweet? I love this balmy blue and gray color combination. So that's one of the cards we're doing in the cottage wreaths. This is the second one. I love the soft, so saffron here. And it has this bronzy bow on there. Can you see the little acorns and stuff? It's just so cute. So that is the second card we're doing. This is a really fun pivot card, and I copied this directly from one of my friends, Diane Alberts. She made me this card when we went to New Orleans, and she gave me permission to copy it and use it for my class. So this is one of those pivot cards. I just really love that one as well. And then a simple, sweet Christmas card as well with the red rhinestones and lots of Wink of Stella on that one. I don't know if you can see it very well or not. So that is my cottage wreaths class that is this Thursday. You can come in person or you can get it to go. The link will be in the description after this video as well. Okay, so who wants to start seeing me make some cards, huh? That's what tonight is all about. I am using the Fond of Autumn sweet tonight. And I'm going to use the Fond of Autumn stamp set. Such pretty elements in this. You get the acorns, the flowers, the branches with the berries, some beautiful sentiments. And then this die set, and this is a very interesting die here that they've never had before, so I can't wait to show you kind of how we're going to use that. So let's get started. I'm not seeing comments yet, so I'm sure those of you are out there. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with the Stamparatus, okay? And I'm going to pull this in, and I'm going to stamp all of my Fond of Autumn bouquets first. I'm going to stamp them all at the beginning and then set them aside, and we will use them as we need them, okay? So I've got my Stamparatus. I have already marked kind of where I want to put the corner of each of my cards, and I am going to, let me move my magnet there. I'm going to stamp my bouquet on my paper, and I'm going to do it for all of my cards at once, except for one little piece that I'm going to have to pull this off. So I'm inking it up with Memento Black ink, and this is just a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white that I have here. And the nice thing about the Stamparatus is that you can stamp, and if you don't get a clear image at first, I mean, normally you would have to kind of see how it didn't, like, I didn't push hard enough right there in that corner, so I'm going to ink that up a little bit more. You can get a nice, crisp, clear element. Thanks to Roz for reminding me I should be using this when I need a really crisp black image, okay? Still kind of, I wonder if this magnet is kind of in the way. I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to try again. There we go. Beautiful, right? Okay, so there's my white card, and I'm going to do that 2 more times on 2 pieces of vanilla cardstock. So I'm putting it up in the corner here. I'm going to move my magnets to there, and maybe it'll help me get this corner image a little bit better. Okay. Here we go. Need some more right here, right? Let's try that again. So the nice thing about the Stamparatus is it allows you to stamp in the same place over and over and over again. I think I'm going to do these little berries right here one more time. Here we go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pull that one off, and I'm going to do it one more time with vanilla. And this will all make sense here in just a minute. I don't know why that feels like it's 2 pieces. Maybe I grabbed a thick piece, but it's all going to be okay. And the nice thing at this time is that I don't have to worry about centering it or anything, because I'm going to cut all of these elements out in different ways. So I can't wait to show you that. This is a stamp set that I loved from the very beginning, but I didn't get it until about a few weeks ago. I was kind of waiting for autumn to come in full force here. Let's see how that one turned out. I think I still need a little more over here on my berries. There we go. All right, so there are my 3 bouquets of Fond of Autumn, and I am gonna clean this off with my chamois, and then I'm gonna put it on a block because I am gonna use it a couple of more times in different ways. Okay, so let me put my Memento Black ink up, and I'm gonna switch this over to a block. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put my Stamparatus away, and we can get started with our stamping. So my first card is a little fun Z-fold card. I think you're going to like this. Isn't that sweet? I love that we can stamp that design in that corner right there. And then you notice that I'm just using the very most center element here of this stamped image. Now, the cool thing about our dies in this set is that there is a die to cut out the entire image, and then there's also a die to cut out these images separately, and that's what I'm going to use right now. So I've got my Big Shot here. I'm going to grab my die, and let's see, I think it goes like that. Do you see how it just outlines each of those elements so nicely? And then I'm going to run it through. Here, let me get that a little bit straighter there. There we go. Run it through my die cutting machine. And when it comes out the other side, it actually cuts out 3 elements into 3 pieces, okay? So we're getting this piece that is a flower, the flower image, and then this is the one with the acorns, and then this is 2 little leaf boughs with berry images. Now I'm gonna take this one, the flowers and the berries and the leaves, and I'm going to set that aside because for this card, we're only using this element right here, okay? So we are going to take a piece of early espresso, cut it 5.5 by 8.5, and then along this long side here, you're going to score it at 2 1/8 and then 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is right in the middle, and then 2 1/8 is the middle of that side over there, okay? So 5.5 by 8.5, score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, okay? Now I'm gonna take this piece of early espresso and I'm gonna fold it in half, just like that, and then I'm gonna fold it back on itself, right like this, okay? This card was inspired by one I saw that Jennifer Cotton did, and she posted it on Pinterest, and I really liked it, so I cased it and kind of made it my own. I'm using a piece of the gingham DSP that is 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to adhere that right to this front panel right here. And I'm going to adhere it so that the pumpkin pie side is up. I have used this gingham paper over and over and over again. I just love it. Okay, my eyes are doing weird things. So I'm going to open this up, make sure I get this straight on the front panel here. There we go. I still don't think that's super straight. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. So there's my front panel. And then for the inside, I've got a piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper here to put down underneath my project. And I'm going to ink this up in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to stamp it right here in the corner. Right like that. Beautiful, huh? All right, putting that over there. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this right to the inside of my card, right like that, okay? So I have to tell you, thank God I have you guys to come to on Monday nights, because I had a rough day at school and I needed some joy. So here we go. So here's my card. Here's the inside. This is where you would write a little sentiment to your friend, and it's going to open like this, okay? Next, I took a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock and I cut it with the largest seasonal label from the seasonal label dies. And then I also ran it through with the falling leaves embossing folder, which looks like this right here. So I love this falling leaves. So after I cut out my seasonal label with pumpkin pie cardstock, I embossed it with the falling leaves dies. Doesn't that just turn out so cute? I just love that. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm going to adhere it to just this side, that front panel with the gingham on it, with some dimensionals. So let me grab my dimensionals here. There we go. I'm going to put, oops, better make sure I've got it all the way I want. Okay, so I want it on this side right here. Okay. So I had a pretty quiet day for a Monday at my school, and then things just kind of blew up this afternoon, and I was like, thank goodness I have my Facebook Live tonight, because it just brings me so much joy to come on here with you guys and show you my creations. Okay, so I've just got dimensionals on one side. I'm going to line this up with this center here, and I'm just going to place that right on there, and then it'll open like that. See? Isn't that cute? Okay, now this is that center image of the Fond of Autumn dies, and I'm going to use just 2 pairs of blends here. I'm going to use Old Olive, and I'm going to use a bronze with one of our skin tone, and this one is SU 800. SU 800. Okay, so I'm going to take my image, and you know how I like to do it. I like to start with my light all over. So I like to just outline the whole thing first. I'm using a brush tip here. It just works well for me. And then I do circular motions on the inside. Same here with this little leaf. Same here with this little leaf. Hell yeah, it doesn't matter how old your kids get or how old you get. There's nothing that brings me more joy than to see my kids walk through the door. How about you guys? It's just the best to get to hug your kids, especially when you weren't expecting them. It's just quite the surprise. Okay, so there's my light color. And then I like to go in. Hi, Jody. Thanks for joining me. And I like to add some color to the areas where you know things would be a little darker, like especially at these tips, like that, along the vein lines. A lot of times they'll give you hints with some tick marks for shading and that sort of thing. Here we go. I'm going to do the same thing here. So you know things are darker towards the stem. And then here we go. Okay, and then I like to go back over it one more time with my light brush and just help it all blend together nicely. So there's no harsh lines. I don't know. Do you guys start with your dark and end with your light? We all have our own methods. Okay, so there's my leaves. And then for my acorns, I'm going to do the base of the acorn in this kind of flesh colored. This is the SU 800. I think that's what it says. SU 800, yes. It's kind of a medium ivory shade. Okay, and then I'm going to do my caps. And oh my gosh, my whole thing fell apart here. Let me put that back together. I pulled the cap off wrong and the whole thing came apart. Never happens except on a Facebook Live. That has never happened in my life. Isn't that bizarre? Okay, I'm going to go from this end then. Here we go. Why does that happen on a Facebook Live? I don't know. Okay, so I'm doing my tops of my acorns here. La la la, we're just pretending like that just didn't happen. La la la. This is what stamping does. It makes you happy when you're frustrated. Okay, and then I'm going to add some little dots here on some of those acorns just to give it a little more texture. Okay, like that. And then if you want to, you can add a few dots along here just to add a little bit more interest to it. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to attach it with dimensionals right here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my dimensionals. I love this card because it's super simple, and I love cards that are simple but look like they're hard, because then people are like, how did you ever do that? And you're like, oh, it's, you know, I just make these cards and they're so awesome. I don't know if that's what you would say. That's probably what I would say. Okay, so I'm going to put this element right over here on that side, right like that. Okay, then I have a piece of white paper that is about, let's see, I did put a sticky note on this one. It's about 1 3/4 inches wide. Okay, and I'm going to stamp I'm So Fond of You, and I'm going to do that in Early Espresso ink on just this little piece of white paper. There we go. Cute, huh? Just a couple of more elements. I'm going to take my linen thread. And so if you buy this kit to go, you'll get the linen thread as well. And I'm going to take this linen thread. I'm going to use 3 fingers and I'm just going to wrap it around. I separate my fingers a little bit. A few times. How many? I don't know. A few. More or less. 3 or 4. And then I'm going to take my bundle and I'm going to twist it like that. And I'm going to get a little piece of tear and tape and I'm going to tape it down. So if you're wondering about my breast cancer fundraiser, I'm about halfway to my goal. I would love it if you would help me. Make a donation to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. If you already make your own donations, well, God bless you, and you can just move on. If you don't, and you're not sure how to go about that, you can buy a kit from me, and $10 of the kit will go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and then I will. So I just cut it right around. So this was 1 3/4 wide. I stamped on it and then I just cut it close with my paper cutter. You could use scissors there too as well. And I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back side of this. So it's just my way of helping. I've had 2 team members this past year that have battled breast cancer. And so that's one reason it's very important to me. Another reason is that I just put those dimensionals on the wrong corners. So I'm talking and I get so excited about my breast cancer fundraiser that I forget that I'm supposed to be showing you how to do this. Okay, so there we go. opposite those corners. You want the upper left, the bottom right. And I'm just going to tuck that in right there. Okay, how cute is that? All right, now I'm going to take my metallic dots. This is what you get free with the kit if you place a $50 order. Okay, I'll throw these in with your kit. And I'm just going to scatter these around kind of wherever I want. I'm going to put one here on the, let's do it about right there. And then I'm actually going to put one on my label right there. So that is card number 1. It uses that center element of that bouquet that got cut out into 3 pieces. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you like that? Give me some hearts or thumbs up or love if you like that card. And while I'm cleaning up here, and then we can move on to our second card. Thanks, guys. All right, so here is my card number 2. And I don't know what this is called. I call it a spotlight card. It might be called something like a telescope card or something like that. Hi, Rhonda. Thanks for joining. So here's my next card. We are going to cut out and spotlight. See how it looks like it's just magnifying or spotlighting a certain part of that bouquet. Isn't that so pretty? And then there's the inside of my card. So let's get our pieces out. I used a piece of soft succulent that is 5.5 by 8.5 and then scored by 4 1/4. Scored it, and then another scrap to cut out this circle, stylish shaped circle. And the diameter of this circle is a little more than 2.5. It looks like 2 5/8. Okay, 2 5/8 size of a circle. I'm going to put that aside for just a second. And then I've already done some other things. One of them is that I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock cut 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to take that piece of cardstock and I'm going to add a little piece of soft succulent 6 by 6 DSP to the bottom. And I'm going to cut it at about 3/4 of an inch. I do this all the time. You guys who watch me know that I do this all the time. So I've got a piece of that. I really loved this print with this card. So I hope you enjoy it too. And I'm going to take my Very Vanilla, and you'll need 4 of these, and I'll show you why in just a minute. You'll need to cut 4. We're going to start with this one. I'm going to add this strip of that soft succulent 6 by 6 DSP to the bottom edge right here. Like that, and then just cut off the excess from the sides. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm now going to add this to the inside of my card right there, and then the inside of my card will be done. I know that's probably backwards for some of you. Some of you probably do the inside at the end, and maybe on the next card we will. But this one, we're doing like this. There we go. That'll be the inside of our card. It's just nice to open it and have a little something, something on the inside there. Okay. All right. Now, I've got the outside of my card to deal with. So I'm going to take another one of those pieces of Very Vanilla, and I'm going to lay it right down on the front of my card right here. So let me add some Seal to that. Seal Plus is my adhesive to go unless I need to use liquid adhesive to kind of make everything, give me a little wiggle room. But typically I will use Seal Plus. It's just a very easy to use adhesive, strong, and I love it. Okay, then I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock that I cut 5 5 inches by 3 3/4, and I cut it out with our deckled edged rectangle about that size. And then I did what I did on the last card, and I embossed it with the falling leaves, okay? But before I put this down, I'm gonna take that linen thread and I'm gonna wrap it around the card base at the bottom. I threw it in my little box here, okay? Take my linen thread, I'm going to wrap it around this crumb cake base a couple of times. So I'm going to start it over here with about 3 or 4 inches. I'm going to wrap and wrap around several times. I did it about 2 to 3 times. And I'm just tying it in a knot here towards the right bottom of my card, and I'm just tying it in a knot. I'm wrapping it around a couple of times here, and grab that. There we go. Tied it in a knot, okay? And move the string to the bottom. There we go. It's just a knot. It's not a big deal. If you wanted to do it in a bow, you certainly could. I just thought I kind of liked the knot on this one. Okay, so I'm going to cut those ends off. There we go. Now I'm going to adhere this to this card base using my seal again, and I'm going to put a little bit down there. Here, I would not push very hard, just enough, because you don't want to push too hard and push all of that beautiful embossing out of your cardstock. Okay, so that's going to go right there. So there we go. We've made a good start to our card base. And then remember I cut 2 of these. And so what I'm going to do with one of them, I'm going to show you that one of these dies in our die set cuts out the outline image. So it will cut out the entire outline. And then the other one, instead of using this one that cuts it into 3 parts, which you certainly could do, we are going to use a circle die. And that's going to create that telescoping. And I picked just your regular circle dies, and I picked one that fit right inside just so you could see the edge of that soft, succulent circle around the outside edge. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to pick a place where I would want that telescope to be, so that for me it's going to be about right there. I'm going to use some, I might need to get some new, I think it'll be okay. And I'm going to cut out a circle right there in the center. So let me grab my die cutting machine again. I'm going to start by just cutting out the outside image here. Besides my 2 teammates that have fought breast cancer, my best friend's daughter fought breast cancer throughout COVID. I'm very close to Caitlin, and I was actually at her birth. She's a very special person in my life. And then, as you remember from last year, my sister Amy also battled breast cancer when she was in her 30s. So I have a lot of people near and dear to my heart. I just want to get the word out that we need to be supporting women in finding a cure for this awful disease. Okay, so now I'm taking the circle die, I'm putting it right there, and I'm just going to cut a circle out of the center here of that. It's kind of weird to do that because you're like, oh, I love that. And you know what? I tried to do it with just one, but because we're cutting out, here, let me show you. Because we're cutting out the design here, it looked really awkward. It was hard to get a big circle out of it. So There we go. So you see, you can almost line that up. Look. And you can't even tell it's there, right? So, okay, I'm going to put this circle away. Okay. I'm using an interesting color combination for this one because I wanted to bring in that soft succulent. So here's my colors that I'm using for this. I am using my soft succulent for the leaves, of course. I'm using crumb cake for the bottom of my acorn. I'm using soft suede for the top of my acorn. And I'm using pumpkin pie blends for my flowers, okay? So all I'm coloring is this circle piece here. So it doesn't take very long. So I'm gonna do the outline of my leaves just like I did before. So what do you guys love most about fall? I love the colors, obviously. And especially here in Nebraska, we get great fall colors. I love anything pumpkin. I'm a pumpkin crazed person. I like pumpkin cream in my coffee. I like pumpkin pie. I like everything pumpkin. Only thing I don't like about fall is it means that winter is coming. And I do not like the cold at all. I don't like to be cold. So here in my basement is where my craft room is. I typically will start using my space heater pretty early on. Okay, so then I'm going to do just what I did on my last one. I'm going to add some dark here at the base of these leaves. And then just along the center here where those stems are, I really love the look of this soft succulent on these leaves. It's a great color for a fall card, especially with the pumpkin and the soft suede. Okay, and then I'm going to do just what I did last time and blend it all together with my light. I'm a pretty fast blender. I know some people really like to be careful and take their time. I just go for it, really. Okay, and then let's go for our acorns. I'm doing crumb cake here on the bottom. I'm going to start with my light. I kind of like my blends almost to give like a watercolor effect. So that is one of the reasons I don't get too worried if it looks splotchy, because that's kind of the way I like it to look. Okay, I added a little bit there. Let me blend that in a little bit more. And then I'll do the top of my acorns with my soft suede. I really like soft suede with soft succulent. I think it's a really nice combination of colors. Okay, that's my light. And then with my dark soft suede, I'm just going to add dots to the top just to make it feel like it has some texture. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add the stems here. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to my pumpkin pie and do my flowers and my berries. So I'm going to start. The whole thing is going to be, use my other end here maybe. There we go. And my berries are here. Okay, and I think I outlined my fronds here with And then I'm going to take my dark pumpkin pie and, sorry, my computer's doing something weird, so I'm not sure if you guys are there or not. I'm just going to add it to those lines there and around the, like that little, just around the bottom there. There we go. Pretty, huh? So this is going to go on top of this, and then I'm going to assemble everything else on my card, and we're almost done with card number 2. So here we go. There's my spotlight. So I'm doing nothing to this. I'm just going to lay this right on top of my card here, but I'm going to use dimensionals for that. So let me grab those. So we actually had some wildfires here in Lincoln, in our county, just south of where I am, about probably 20, 30 minutes, and it got really scary for some people. It's just been so dry here, and the winds really picked up yesterday. I was filling my car up with gas, and I almost got blown over. It's just like it started all of a sudden, and then I thought it was just dust being blown in, but then my husband came home and he said, I think there must be a fire close by. And just about that time, okay, so I'm going to stop talking here for a second. I'm going to try to kind of line this circle up so it looks like this leaf continues on into the sides of the card. Like it really looks like it's just spotlighting that. Okay, so that's going to go right there, and I'm going to add dimensionals to the back of this again. I love this card. I hope you guys think it's as beautiful as I do. I think it's super fun. Okay, I'm going to get this lined up the way I want it to be. There we go. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now I've got a stylish shaped border that I cut from Very Vanilla. And I'm going to stamp Autumn Wishes in pumpkin pie ink. I'm going to stamp it right on that banner. Woohoo! There we go. It's always good when it comes out. Now, something you need to know is that this has been lifted up and this has been lifted up. So on this end of my Autumn Wishes, I'm going to put 2 dimensionals and I'm going to stack them on top of each other so that everything is level when we put it on the card. We don't want our banner to be sagging on one side. So I've just put adhesive on the Autumn side and double dimensionals on the Wishes side. So then this will fit right in here and everything will be level. Okay? Now all I have to do is add some dots to my card front, and I'm going to go back to those, and I'm going to use the bronzy looking ones here, and I'm going to add 3 dots, one up here, one inside at the top of those acorns, and then one kind of scattered off to this side over here. Okay? Do you guys like that? I'm calling it a spotlight card. So, and then the inside is there. I love it. It's super pretty, I think, if I must say so myself. So, okay, so we're going to put that card away. Autumn Wishes. And then our last card is maybe my favorite. I'm not sure. You guys will have to tell me. I'm going to put these blends away. All right. Get everything out of the way that I don't need right now. Okay. So here is our last card. And I'm actually using the elements from that 3-piece die. Remember when I cut out the acorns from the center? So the other 3 pieces are these. And so I'm using my flowers right here and using my boughs on either side over here. So I will need to use some blends on those. I'm using this festive label die. Is that what it's called? Festive label? Fabulous Frames. Fabulous Frames is what it's called. And using this one right here that has the scallop at the top and the bottom. And so what I have done, let me get all my pieces here, is I have cut one of those fabulous frames out from the brushed gold foil paper. Isn't that so pretty? And then the inside of that, I've got over here, I'm just going to save it for another time, okay? So then I cut it again. So I cut the inside out. I'll just save it for another project. Then I cut it again in white so that I could have a piece of white to go on the inside. Okay, so I use that brushed gold for that. I am using a piece of Mossy Meadow cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. So it's going to open long ways like this. I have a piece of crushed curry cut 4 by 5 1/4. Have a piece of white 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And I use some Rustic Harvest DSP. That's the one that has the more fall colors on one side and black and white on the other. And I cut it 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so let me get my stickies all off here. I've got stickies everywhere. It's kind of like my desk at work. That's how I keep track of things, is I put sticky notes everywhere. I'm going to take my Designer Series paper, and I'm going to add it right here to the top of my crushed curry. Right like that. Beautiful. And then I've got this gold satin ribbon, and I'm going to run it around the left side of my card about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch from the left side. And I'm going to tie a bow right here along the bottom edge. This is our gold satin ribbon. I thought about using the metallic gold, but it was just too much. It was too much metal. So I changed my mind and went to this gold satin ribbon. I'm going to tie a bow right there at the bottom. Cut my tails off here. And now I can adhere this to my Mossy Meadow card base. And I'm going to just do that flat. Okay. Get everything lined up straight. I hope I'm not off camera. There we go. I love this color combination as well. Okay, so that'll be my card base. Now, before I do the outside of my card, I'm going to do the inside of my card and color these at the same time. So I'm going back to that bouquet, and this time I'm focused on this side of the bouquet. I don't know if you can see it, that is mostly the flowers. I'm going to focus on that flower section. Let me get my chamois to clean this off a little bit better before I do this. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my Memento black ink, and I'm only inking up this edge right here, this bottom edge where the flowers are. You can see them a little more clearly now that I've taken that pumpkin pie off of there. I'm using Memento black ink, and I'm just going to stamp this right in the corner right here. There we go. Okay. Then when I'm doing my blends for everything, I've already got them all out. I don't need to like do it more than once. So I'm going to grab my blends, and this time I'm using these colors. Do you see how they kind of match my paper here? I'm using Mossy Meadow. I'm using Mango Medley instead of Crushed Curry. I'm using Dark and Light Cajun Craze, and also a little Pale Papaya to lighten up my flower. Okay, so here's all my pieces. All my leaves are going to be green, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to outline them like I usually do with my light. So, are any of you traveling for Thanksgiving? This year, all my kids are coming to me, so that will be fun. I love when all my kids come home. Kids, grandkids, everyone will be coming to Lincoln. Carson and his wife, Natalie, and her husband, which is Carson. And we're going to have at least 3 or 4 days together, so that'll be fun. We like to do a little family pseudo 5K run. We used to do it at the YMCA in town, but when COVID hit, we kind of had our own little family one on our bike paths here near our house, and we decided to make that a family tradition. So my son-in-law, Ryan, will make us all a t-shirt for the year. We call it the Tuttle Trot. The YMCA run was called the Turkey Trot, but we call it the Tuttle Trot. And he will make us some cute t-shirts for that. And we all wear them, and some of us run, some of us don't. Some of us walk, some of us push strollers, but it's just, we love to do it. It's just a way to get us out and continue a tradition for some time. Okay, so then I'm going to do all the leaves here on my berry branches. You guys are being kind of quiet tonight. Either that or my computer isn't telling me I'm getting comments. So talk to me. Love for you too. Does your family have any family traditions that are different maybe from other people's? Throw those in the chat there. So some of you have asked about Jim's eyes. They are recovering. He still isn't 100%, but he's doing a lot better. And he was able to drive to Texas and back over fall break because the doctor would not let him fly. So he had to drive. Okay, I'm going to do the dark in some of these areas here that I want a little bit more darker towards the stems. Last year, one of my students at Lincoln High, we were going around doing a What You Love About Thanksgiving, and she said they have a chicken killing party, which we were all like, what? And she said her mom goes to a local farm and they release a chicken in their backyard and everybody tries to catch it and kill it first, which that's a unique Thanksgiving tradition. I can't even imagine my mom doing that. She was from the Sudan, so she said that was always part of their festivities was to kill a chicken. So it's their family tradition, you know. We're all a little different. I cannot imagine releasing a chicken out in my backyard and trying to kill it, but okay, there we go. That's going to be good enough. All right, I'm going to do my berries and light and dark mango medley. I'm going to start with the light on all of them. Now, if you did not have all these colors of blends, you could do all the cards in the same color. Or you could use markers. But if you're using markers, don't use Memento Black because, oh, I should do these berries over here. Because you should use Stays On if you're just using regular markers, which you could. You just don't get as much of the shading. And I'm going to use the other end here. It's better. There we go. That you do when you get blends. You get some nice shading going on. So if you want my class to go, maybe that's what you invest in, is some blends, especially if you already have the stamp set, right? You wouldn't need that. We are really very close to being done. I know you guys are like, oh, this coloring's taking forever. But it's so worth it, isn't it? Look at the color on this. So rich and vibrant and nicely shaded. Okay, so I'm going to just avoid the center on these flowers because I'm going to bring in some pale papaya for that. This is my light Cajun Craze. So some other classes that I have coming up here in the next week or two, I have a Fitting Florals. That's the new suite that is going to be released to customers at the first week in November. I'm having my class on November 3rd because I want to make sure that nothing goes out of stock by the time I have my class. If you would like to take that class in person or to go, there'll be a link for that on my Facebook page. It's always in my email. So the best way to get first dibs at any of my classes is to be on my email list. So if you would like to be on my email list, send me a PM and I will get you added. I'm also right now doing a 12 weeks of Christmas. I've collaborated with several other demonstrators across the United States, and every week we're releasing another week of the 12 weeks of Christmas, and it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. So now I'm going to take my pale papaya. That was my light Cajun. I'm going to bring it into the center here and just kind of lighten that flower up a little bit. See how it just kind of brightens it? Hi, Chels. Thanks for being here. I was beginning to wonder if anyone was here. Okay, so I'm going to take my frame, and this is what I did. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I just feel like it helps you pop it up. So I'm putting my white centerpiece. Remember, I cut this twice. I cut it once in the gold and once in the white. I'm using the frame of the gold and the inside of the white. And I'm going to lay my frame, the center into my frame, my basic white center into my frame. And I'm just going to grab a couple of pieces of tear and tape to just kind of hold it together. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece there. I'm going to put a piece. So tear and tape is just a super strong adhesive, great for 3D projects, and also good if you want to do what I'm doing, tape things together so they won't fall apart. And I'm going to put another strip over here on this side, and another strip over here on this side. And it'll kind of hold that frame to the inside, that white piece to the inside of my frame, so that it all stays together. Okay, there we go. See, it stays together much better. All right, so I'm going to stamp on this in my Cajun Craze ink, my thank you. And I love the font. So my thank you is going to go right up here in that corner right there. Kind of liked it at an angle. Let me put all of those away. And then I'm going to start adding my elements here. So my branches are going to go flat. So I'm going to have one kind of in this corner. So I'm just going to add a little adhesive to the back of that. Stick it right there. I've got another one kind of coming up this way. And it's okay if it goes off the edge of the frame. I think that kind of gives some nice motion and texture to the card. So that's going to go right there. And then my flowers, I'm going to pop them up right here. Okay? I'm going to use some dimensionals. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to some of the berries and my flowers. Okay, so I'm popping this up right there. I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella. I love Wink of Stella to just add a little bling. So I'm adding a little bling to each of my berries. It's very subtle, but you can really tell when you're holding it up and looking at the card. And then the center of my flowers right here. Okay. Who loves Wink of Stella? Anybody love it as much as I do? I know Chelsea loves it. It's super fun. Okay, so here is my card base. This is going to go to the inside of my card. Okay, and then this is going to be popped here on the outside of my card, just like that. I kind of like that ribbon sitting right there. Good night. I just had those dimensionals in my hand. I don't know where I put them, so I'll have to grab another sheet here. How do I do that? I do it all the time. Here, I'll use, nope, I don't want to use that one. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to put some dimensionals on my frame right here. Is everybody just kind of tired tonight? So Chelsea, I think you missed my cottage wreath cards that we're going to make this week. So only watch the replay if you don't want to be surprised. Always feel kind of guilty sometimes showing the cards that I'm going to make in classes before people get to make them. But I also think it kind of helps people see that they're beautiful and that they're going to have a lot of fun doing that. Okay, so if you would like this card kit to go, you need to place an order of $30 or more by next Monday in my online store, which is TuttleUpShop.com, and use host code QSGGGUH7. QSGGGUH7. I'll also put a direct link in the description when I'm done. Okay, what does this need? It needs a little bit of bling. So I'm going to go back to my dots. And these champagne ones, I think kind of look nice with that Cajun craze. What do you think? So I decided to add some dots. You can put them anywhere you want. I'm going to add them here and there. What do you think? So that's my card number 3. Here, let me bring them all out for tonight, the 3 cards that we made. Which one is your favorite? I would have a hard time choosing because I really love them all. I like the rich colors of this one. I like the fun fold and the embossing folder on this one. And I really like this spotlight technique. I don't know if any of you have done that before, but that was super fun as well. So if you would like to get this card kit in the mail to make 6 cards, again, you're going to place an online order in my Tuttle Up shop using host code QSGGGUH7, or I will be sure to put a direct link in the description after this video is over. Okay, so let me lift this up. Flip everything back around. There we go. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, I know this is annoying. I don't get annoyed when it happens to other people. Maybe you get annoyed with me. Again, I'm so humbled and grateful that you came to me tonight and spent your time watching me stamp. I hope I have inspired you to make some beautiful cards and to bless other people with the cards that you make. So I will be back here. Next week is Halloween. Ooh, I don't know what I'll make, but I will be here next Monday night at 7 o'clock with something fun to show you for another online class. So God bless everybody. We'll see you next Monday night.